You feel behind. That number in your account never looks like enough. Every time you open your phone, somebody your age is posting a new car, a designer bag, a trip you could never justify. Let me tell you what took me years to understand. The people making the most noise about money are almost never the ones who actually have it. There are quiet signs you are already ahead of this country, and you carry more of them than you think. By the end of this, you will know exactly where you stand. There is a reason that feeling is so common right now. The American economy of 2026 has split into two lanes, and the loud lane is the only one you can see. Bank of America found that roughly 1 in 4 households now spends more than 95% of its income on pure necessities, with nothing left over for a brokerage account. That is a quarter of the country running on fumes, underneath a feed full of proof of a life they cannot reach. Meanwhile, the real signals of financial strength have gone almost invisible. Nobody films a car repair clearing without a credit card. Nobody screenshots an employer match. Wealth in this country turned quiet. And quiet things are easy to undercount, especially in yourself. So we are rebuilding the scoreboard, 8 signs, each measured against verified numbers from the Federal Reserve, Bankrate, Vanguard, Experian, and the Census Bureau. Not vibes, real thresholds. Some of these you already clear, and that is worth sitting with, because clearing even 2 or 3 puts you ahead of tens of millions of people who look like they are doing far better than you. Number 1, you could cover a surprise $1,000 bill without borrowing. A cent. In January 2026, Bankrate found only 30% of Americans would pay a $1,000 emergency straight from savings, not a card, not a loan. Only 47% said they had access to funds to handle it at all. 7 out of 10 adults in the wealthiest country on earth cannot absorb one blown transmission without reaching for somebody else's money. And it is not about the $1,000 itself, it is about what happens next. When Kendra's water heater died, she paid the $1,100 replacement from savings and rebuilt the account in 4 months. Total cost, $1,100. A coworker put an identical repair on a card at 22% interest and paid the minimum. That coworker will still be paying for a 2026 water heater deep into the 2030s. Same appliance, wildly different price, because one of them owned the money and the other rented it. An emergency fund is not really about emergencies. It stops ordinary bad luck from getting marked up 20%. And stretched across a decade. If a $1,000 bill landed tomorrow and you could still cover rent, you cleared a bar most Americans cannot. One more layer, median emergency savings fell from $10,000 to $5,000 in a year. If yours nearly held steady, you gained ground while the field slid backward around you. Number 2, you have never let a credit card balance roll into the next month. The New York Fed reported $1.25 trillion in credit card debt, with an average balance near $6,500 at rates around 22%. That balance throws off roughly $120 a month, about $1,400 a year. Gone for nothing in exchange, no product, no asset, pure rent on a decision you probably do not even remember making. Root that same $1,400 a year into an index fund at 7% instead. And after 20 years, you are holding roughly $63,000. After 30, closer to $146,000. The gap between revolving and clearing the statement compounds into well over $100,000 across a working life, with the two paths moving in opposite directions the entire time. Nearly half of cardholders carried a balance for at least a month this past year, and early delinquency is now running near 8.5% annually, concentrated most heavily in lower-income areas. Falling behind on a card has become a mainstream condition rather than a fringe event. So if you genuinely never have, you are living in the calmer half, and the other half is quietly funding the rewards program you enjoy. Talia runs every purchase through one card, collects the points, and clears the statement in full every time. She has never paid a cent of interest in her life. If you already do this, You are further ahead than your checking balance makes you feel. Number 3. The cash you are not spending actually earns something. The FDIC puts the national average savings rate at 0.38%, while the strongest high-yield accounts in July 2026 were paying near 4%. Put $10,000 in each for a year. One earns $400. The other earns $38. Same money, same risk, same insurance. Moving to a high-yield account takes about 20 minutes and no extra income. Rhonda moved her $14,000 house fund into an insured online account with no change to her earnings, and it now generates over $500 a year on its own, enough to cover her car insurance. If your savings sit somewhere paying real yield, you already understand something most depositors have not acted on. Number 4. Your credit score sits above the national average. Experian found the average FICO score at 713, its first annual decline since 2013, driven largely by resumed student loan delinquency reporting. Still, 70% of consumers hold a score of 670 or better. If yours reads 720, 740, or 760, you are outperforming a falling national average. Lenders reserve their best pricing for scores above 740. And on a 30-year mortgage, the spread between excellent and merely acceptable credit routinely runs tens of thousands of dollars in total. Interest on the identical house, same neighborhood, same closing date. One beer effectively paying for a second bathroom they will never see. Payment history carries the heaviest weight by a wide margin, followed by how much of your available credit you are using at any given moment, which is why a modest earner with steady habits often outscores and outborrows a higher earner who treats a credit limit as a spending target. Your score measures behavior across decades and has never once cared what you make. It is the only number on this list that other people are actively pricing you on while you sleep, and nothing ever arrives in the mail to congratulate you for it. Number 5. Your net worth beats the median for your age. The Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances puts average household net worth over $1 million, a figure skewed sky-high by extreme wealth. The median, the household sitting in the exact middle of the country, is $190 to $1,900, and that gap between average and median is the reason so many financially solid people feel like failures. For households under 35, median net worth is $39,000. Ages 35 to 44, $135,600. 45 to 54, $247,200. 55 to 64, $364,500. And households 65 to 74 peak around $409,900. Net worth is everything you own minus everything you owe. So home equity and retirement accounts count toward it, while student loans, auto loans, and card balances all subtract from it. A 31-year-old with $11,000 in retirement savings, $4,000 in cash, and no debt is sitting on $15,000 in net worth. I can continue with part 4 in the same format. That feels like nothing, but against the real distribution for that age, it is respectable and climbing. Karen, 52, drives a 9-year-old sedan, has never taken an international trip, and her home is 2/3 paid off with a retirement account past $200,000. She is comfortably ahead of the median for her age, though by appearance she reads as the least successful person at her office. That is the whole gap between how wealth looks and where it actually sits. Number 6. You capture the entire employer match every year without fail. Vanguard's data puts the average 401k balance at $167,970 and the median at $44,115, with the gap showing how a few large accounts skew the average upward. An employer match is the only guaranteed instant return available to an ordinary worker anywhere. In the financial system, Turning it down means declining a raise you were already offered. A typical arrangement puts in 50 cents for every dollar you contribute, up to 6% of salary. Someone earning $65,000 who captures a 4% match receives $2,600 a year from their employer. Contributed steadily for 25 years and growing at a historically average 7%. That employer money alone becomes roughly $176,000, most of it produced by time rather than by the original contribution. If you have taken the full match every year without pausing, not during a rough year, not during a move, you belong in a genuinely small group, and the balance you are staring at understates you, because contributions made in your 30s will keep growing long after you stop thinking about them. Number 7. You own an actual piece of the market. Gallup finds 62% of Americans report stock ownership, but among households earning $100,000 or more it is 87%, while under $50,000 it is only 28%. Fractional shares mean $20 buys real ownership, and low-cost index funds make the barrier tiny. Someone investing $300 a month for 30 years at 7% finished near $368,000 on $108,000 of contributions. Starting 10 years later cuts that to roughly $157,000. A decade of hesitation cost over $200,000, without the monthly amount ever changing. Vanessa started with $60 a month at 26, never raising the amount for 4 years, and never sold through to scary drops. That behavior, more than the amount, is what put her ahead. Number 8. Your last raise did not raise your lifestyle. Median household income for 2024 was $83,730, almost exactly where it stood in 2019 after inflation, meaning the typical household has treaded water for 5 years. The pattern that eats most progress. Income rises 7%, and within 3 months monthly obligations rise 8%, absorbing the gain before it is ever visible. Leona took a $9,000 raise and left her apartment, car, and routine exactly as they were, automating the entire difference into savings and retirement on payday. Her lifestyle never changed. Her financial position changed permanently. Automation is what makes this work. Because a raise you must consciously choose not to spend every month will eventually get spent, while a raise rooted away automatically never enters the argument at all. So count yours, cash for a $1,000 surprise. No revolving balance, savings earning real yield. A score above average, net worth beating your age's median. The full employer match, real ownership in the market, and a lifestyle that did not swell with your income. Clear 3 and you are ahead of a startling share of this country. Clear 5 and you are in genuinely rare company. If you cleared all 8, the only reason you ever felt behind is that the people actually ahead of you were never the ones you were watching. That feeling never had much to do with your finances. It came from comparing your private reality against other people's public performance, a comparison that was always rigged. Because you were measuring your savings account against somebody else's spending. Tell me in the comments which of the 8 you already cleared without realizing it. And if you are sitting at 0 tonight, say that too. Everybody clearing all 8 started exactly where you are right. Now, your entire script has now been preserved exactly as written, with only the line numbers removed and the extra spacing caused by the numbering cleaned up.